Viewers, the scenes that we're about to show you are becoming alarmingly familiar, distressingly familiar. It appears now that just like in the past in other campuses, the Jamia protest has been supplanted by a communal narrative underwritten by an Islamic grammar. We also saw this in JNU in 2016. Today we are hearing it in Jamia. It's as if a fear of prosecution and persecution has gripped the predominantly Muslim student community of Jamia Millia Islamia. Listen to some of these examples, viewers, of what we heard today as we went out there and reported. Listen to this. So there you heard it, viewers. Students chant Islamic slogans during the standoff on campus. That's the first bit of videotape that we accessed. Here is more evidence. Slogans against Vice Chancellor was also communalized. It appears, viewers, that the students believe that the Vice Chancellor, who is from the Muslim community, is also Islamophobic. Listen to this.
क्यों नहीं हुआ? आप लोगों का आंसर हमें पता है कि आपने किसको मेल भेजा, किसको नहीं भेजा, क्या कर रहे हैं, NHRC हमें सब पता है, लेकिन हमारा सॉल्यूशन हमने जो पहले भी दिया था।
Slogans against Vice Chancellor communalized, viewers, and evidence 3. Students borrow Intifada from Palestinian liberation struggle. They chanted slogans like Intifada Inquilab. All this has nothing to do with the issues being raised by the students on campus, as evidenced by this massive confrontation between students and faculty led by Vice Chancellor this morning. Viewers, these slogans, as I told you, that have an overt Islamic grammar, have nothing to do with the real issue at hand, which is student frustration against their own administration for not pursuing with vigor justice for them after what they allege was brutal police action, as evidenced by videos that we have seen in the past. So, viewers, we have a situation where a very different trajectory seems to be, or at least these protests seem to be on, very different trajectory from where they started out. Now, let me try and go back to the 3 tapes. The first one is the chant of Islamic slogans during the standoff on campus. We've heard some of these slogans. In fact, Shashi Tharoor also took a critical view of some of these slogans, saying that if you Islamicize, communalize these protests, then quite obviously you lose the raison d'etre for protesting against the Citizenship Amendment Act. You will also end up excluding, viewers, according to people like Shashi Tharoor, members of the student fraternity that may not be at all inclined towards a communal agenda. They might be viewing this as a secular protest against what they believe is the undermining of the rights of equality as enshrined in our Constitution. The other video that you have been seeing is also of slogans against the Vice Chancellor, which have been communalized, where the Vice Chancellor, by name, has been called out as an Islamophobe. And the third slogan is borrowed from the Palestinian liberation struggle. That's the third bit of evidence on your screens now. You will see it, viewers. Nizam Bhai will fire that right now. Students borrow Intifada from Palestinian liberation struggle. Now, viewers, think about this. What has that got to do at any level, viewers, with the demands that the students were raising in the morning with the Vice Chancellor? Listen to this.
Say it to the Americans! La ilaha illallah! 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 Salam! Assalam! Intifada Inquilab! Salam! Assalam! Intifada Inquilab! Salam! Assalam! Intifada Inquilab!
अब तक FIR क्यों नहीं हुआ? आप लोगों का आंसर हमें पता है कि आपने किसको मेल भेजा, किसको नहीं भेजा, क्या कर रहे हैं, NHRC आ रही है, हमें सब पता है। लेकिन हमारा सोल्यूशन हमने जो पहले भी दिया था वो आप भी दे रहे हैं कि आप मजिस्ट्रेट के थ्रू FIR कराइए। मजिस्ट्रेट के थ्रू अगर FIR नहीं हो रहा है तो आप कोर्ट के थ्रू कराइए। इसका अगर आपके पास कोई जवाब है तो अभी दीजिए।
हमने जो FIR कराई है उसे रिसीव नहीं कर रहे हैं वो लोग, उसको उसे नहीं मांग रहे। प्लीज आप पूरा तो सुनिए, आधी बात पे बोलने लगते हैं। हम हैं जो भी चीजें, उसके बावजूद भी हम लोगों ने ऑब्जेक्शन भेजा है उसी गवर्नमेंट को जिसके हम एम्प्लॉई हैं, भेजा है उसको और बार बार उसके पीछे लग रहे हैं। अब हम कोर्ट भी जाएंगे।
मैम, आपको यहाँ से अभी बोलना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली पुलिस ने स्टेट स्पॉट में टेररिज्म कराया था जामिया में।
I will request you not to put words in my mouth. I have said it in writing and हम देखिए जो मुझे बोलना है मैं वो बोलूंगी और आगे मेरे
अभी हमको पहले अपने डिमांड से स्टिक करके रहना है। FIR कब होगा?
देखिए FIR ये हम उससे डेट तक पूछिए। मैंने आज कह दिया तो कह दिया, अब होके रहेगा।
आगे हमारे लिए क्या सिक्योरिटी है आपकी, क्या होगा?
FIR करते ही सिक्योरिटी नहीं हो जाती बच्चे। सिक्योरिटी की तैयारी हमारे लोग देखो सिक्योरिटी की देखो, तुम्हारा कुछ कसूर नहीं था, कुछ नहीं था तो नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं आएगा ना। देखिए हम लोग की तरफ से जो कुछ भी हो सकता है सब कर रहे हैं।
Well, viewers, the communal slogans that you have heard from Jamia tie in with evidence that suggests that over the last few days, the protests have taken on a disturbingly communal tone elsewhere too. Listen to this. Well, let's go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan this evening and ask him the most basic question. How do you view this? What exactly is happening here? Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. Thanks very much for having me. It actually is quite demoralizing and very depressing, because the fact of the matter is that no amount of singing the national anthem or a hastily arranged multi-faith sitting can whitewash all these supremacist and bigoted Hindu-phobic and Islamic slogans being shouted on the streets by these anti-CA protesters. These are essentially disgruntled, hate-filled people out on the streets. They're blocking the streets illegally, inconveniencing lakhs of commuters for no rhyme or reason, no logical argument, no rationale, except for a display of show of strength and to have their way. Rule of law does not matter to them because it is man-made. It took 6 years, but hatred for Modi has finally transmogrified into hatred for a plural, non-appeasing India. An India that wants to give respite to persecuted minorities from persecuting Islamic nations.
People were blocking the roads and making
Can you please not interrupt me? I cannot see this gentleman. I don't know who this is.
Okay, can you please, sir?
Can you not interrupt me?
Can you let the gentleman speak?
You are adapted.
Can you let the gentleman
I don't know
speak?
who this person is.
Advocate Sharafuddin Saab, please.
You are speaking up a university.
Okay, 1 second. Advocate Sharafuddin, look.
Can you please metaphorically stop?
Let him finish. I'll let you respond. Why do you want to get off?
Have some manners.
You are picking a...
Look, you can come out and respond to him. You can rebut him. When I ask you to...
Please let you know.
This is the same tactic, Rahul.
You are depicting a university which has a
hurts them. When the truth hurts them, they start shouting and...
Nothing like
Okay,
that.
look.
It is a
Advocate Sharafuddin Saab, please don't force me into...
You should know.
Look, please don't force me into lowering the fader. Because then you will have columnists writing about intolerance on Times Now. So please, let's not get into this space.
You should let the history of Jamia Millia Islamia.
Can you please relax?
When hundreds of students boycotted on the call of the... You are depicting a wrong history of Jamia Millia in a...
Sir, I am not chanting these slogans.
Stop shouting, have some manners.
I am not chanting these slogans. You can see them. They're from this evening. They're not even an hour old.
You have never shown Raja Singh. You have never shown Yogi, which way they say Goli Maro Sano ko when the...
We've been showing it all day. In fact, you see it on this show. If you just wait.
Were being chanted. You should come in there. You should come clean. You should come clean.
Okay, I think this gentleman...
You are not coming clean.
No, 1 second. I think this gentleman is not going to follow the rules of the debate. It becomes painful on a nightly basis to harangue.
Your rules are you set the rules. You set the rules.
Okay, Sharafuddin Saab, I'll have to lower your fader. I'll give you a count till 5 to calm yourself. Please relax. Just lower his fader, please. Let him calm down. Let him calm down. If he wishes to leave the show, he's most welcome to do so. I'm not going to have people cross-talking. You can raise all these issues, sir, and we will respond. Okay, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, finish your point.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a couple of points before I'm interrupted again by this advocate of violence. Rahul, you mentioned
he's not an advocate of violence.
Let me remind to you the
At
words.
best, he's an advocate of intrusion, but that's okay. He's now been, we put him on silent mode.
Metaphorically.
Hopefully, yes, metaphorically, sir, obviously.
Yes.
Hopefully, so, he will get the message and we will all enter this debate calmer, with a resolve to take it somewhere. So why don't you finish your point?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, because it's a very serious issue, Rahul, and I think this requires a debate. And just a couple of points I want to make. The first one is that you were talking of Palestine and this Intifada these guys were saying, which was exactly the same thing that we saw in Kashmir in 2010 and 11. But let me remind you of the words of Dr. Ambedkar that he said 80 years ago. And I'm not mincing it, and neither did he. He said Islam is a closed corporation. The brotherhood of Islam is not the brotherhood of man. And that is why when some Soleimani is killed in Iran, you saw lakhs pour onto the streets in Kashmir. And that is why when you have the Azad Maidan riots, that was for Rohingyas to be demanding Rohingyas be allowed in India. So there is this brotherhood thing, this notion. And finally, let me tell you, just give me 30 seconds. We weren't there, of course, Rahul. When Jinnah thundered, we will either have a divided India or a destroyed India. But these protests are actually a window to what it must have been like. And believe me, it must have been terrifying for a non-Muslim. तेरा मेरा रिश्ता क्या, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, हिंदुओं से आज़ादी, काफिरों से आज़ादी, शहादा रिप्लेसिंग द अशोक चक्र इन द ट्रिकलर, हम लेके रहेंगे जिन्ना वाले आज़ादी. What exactly is जिन्ना वाली आज़ादी? Do these people want a partition? Which area of India exactly do they want to carve out? Do they not realize that with every such slogan, they are alienating millions of Muslims who are law-abiding and they love India?
Okay.
But they might come under the blowback shadow because of being tarnished with the same brush. And lastly, why is a 5-year-old Muslim kid screaming Azadi? Why is he being misled that CA affects him and Muslims? Who is tutoring and inciting him? whoever it is, doesn't care about the child's future. And this is truly a sad day. Okay. We've had an expansive opening argument from Dr. Anand Ranganathan, interrupted by the advocate from the SDPI. I want to bring in Abhinandan Sikri, co-founder of News Laundry. Abhinandan Sikri, straight off the bat question to you. Should a democratic protest be drawing from the Palestinian Intifada, as if to suggest that our university campuses are now some kind of occupied territory that need to be liberated by the great Satan of Hindutva?
No, Rahul, I don't think the Intifada slogan has a place in a protest like this. So that I'm clear about. As do I believe, generally, religiosity is not something I'm a fan of, although I do believe in God and I'm religious personally. I think there is a certain element of it that when it becomes a political tool, it doesn't lead anywhere good. So I don't think that slogan has a place in this protest if it is against the Citizen Amendment Act. What I do have a problem in is that the way debates are framed, and I hope this won't be in that way, although the signs so far seem to point in that direction. And I'll give you an example from a protest that I was a part of, and I was a part of the team that started it. It was the Jan Lokpal movement. There were a couple of episodes where someone had garlanded a gadha and put Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi's photograph on it, some group of protesters. And there were a few channels who were very excited by that one act and wanted to discredit the basic point of what the protest was saying through that one act. So I think that too is a classic strawman argument, and the government and proxies of the government use that often. I think it is an extremely wrong, incorrect, and petty way of simplifying a much larger protest, especially one which does not have a core committee or it does not have an organized team that is deciding what happens when. So I am not in favor of the slogan, but I am not in favor either of saying, look at this, now any opposition or any point raised by anyone against this is pro-Palestine or pro, an Islamic republic. I think that language and that grammar is as problematic as these problematic slogans. So I'm under no illusion that the people who use this tool to then paint everything wrong of any opposition to CAA is a very smart thing to do either.
Okay, interesting point. I want to bring you in, Shehzad Punara, since you've raised your hand, before I bring in Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi also.
2 or 3 quick points.
Yeah.
What Abhinandan is trying to pass off as a mere 1 or 2 occasions or incidences is it's not a symptom, it's the disease. This Hindu phobia, pro-Islamist, Islamic supremacist underlying theme is the disease, and the disease emanates from the vote bank politics that is being practiced on the shoulders of these students and on the issue of CAA. Let me tell you why. PFI activists were arrested by law enforcement.
Okay, hang on. Look, if you want this debate to go in a constructive direction, then don't interrupt him. You can respond to him after that, please.
Let me
Abhinandan, you can respond.
No, I'm just asking who's speaking.
This is Shehzad Poonawala.
How does it matter who's speaking?
It doesn't matter.
Content matters.
Okay, content
that's
matters.
All I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. Let's not make your point. You were making a point. Yeah.
So 25
don't be so
or more
hostile, dude. Take it easy. You don't be so hostile. Relax, Mr. Poonawala.
I'm not being hostile. The only thing is that we're not doing a clothesline show. We're doing a serious debate show. So I hope that you'll raise your standard to something that is not just meant for YouTube viewers and that kind of audience. I hope you'll be more serious on this one. Anyways, so let me now come back to the topic proper. The point that I'm trying to make is...
Well, that depends.
Oh,
that
gosh.
depends on your punchline.
Okay, guys, knock it off, please. Knock it off, please. Come on. Let's keep this above board. You were making a substantive point. Make it, please.
Before I was interrupted.
Come on.
So, the point I'm trying to make is that PFI activists were arrested for fueling violence. a legitimate political party like the Congress, only Mr. Tharoor had the spine to condemn this kind of Islamo supremacy that is going on in this movement. The remaining Congress actually justified it. Point number one. Point number two, the hypocrisy of people like Abhinandan Sikri. For them and their lobby, Jai Shri Ram becomes a war cry. But when Intifada slogans, oh, it's just a one-off, don't make a straw man. Why don't, if it's just a one-off, still condemn the use of La ilaha illallah, condemn the use of Intifada. They won't condemn it like a Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram was only one instance, na? Jai Shri Ram was one instance. The entire 49 activists said it's a war cry. So Hindu slogan is a war cry, and here it is used, oh, but it is just one-off. You know what Intifada represents? It represents the mainstreaming of terrorizing countries and terrorizing populations. That's what was done by Palestinian militants and terrorists in Israel, and that's what was done by Kashmiri militants and terrorists in Kashmir against India. They are normalizing this. And my last and final point is that why is it still that the sheroes of this movement, also justified these slogans? This is the media.
Not all.
There
are some
support of these
who have written against. Yes, okay, but there are also some who have come out with equal vehemence, saying that this has no place.
Can I come in?
This has no place. Okay, 1 second.
Can I come in?
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second, ma'am. 1 second. Let Sudhanshu Trivedi also step in, because, as some people would say, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, the other side, which are BJP politicians, also use communally colored language. Routinely. Communally colored. Identifying people by their religion, clothes, etc., etc. The Prime Minister was accused. So therefore, these people say, if we are being persecuted because we are Muslims, then we will react because we are Muslims and like Muslims. That's the argument that is given in defense. You respond to that now.
Rahul, you have raised a very appropriate point. Now first, our opponents should decide that they are fighting for the Muslim cause or they are fighting for the student cause. Now, what is fact and what is, you can say, farce, can be very well understood. ये बताइए, एक यूनिवर्सिटी में there is a 33-year-old student leader with an 88-year-old professor emeritus. This is a university, and supported by 49-year-old youth leader, the main leader of a political party, and they are raising the slogan of Intifada, and it should be considered as a genuine student protest. And previous slogans कि हिंदुओं की कब्र खुदेगी एमयू की छाती पर, तेरा मेरा रिश्ता क्या, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, and Shahzad said, forget about Jai Shri Ram. Vande Mataram is communal, but La ilaha illallah is a soothing song of secularism. इतना सुंदर इन्होंने बताया है, और फैक्ट क्या है, I would like to quote one more thing. On the 22nd of September 2019,
it has been fully investigated that you are telling lies.
Sharafuddin Saab, please, उनको खत्म करने दीजिए. You can respond after that. Please raise your hand and respond.
मेरा सेंटेंस पूरा हो जाने दीजिए, उसके बाद बताइएगा.
You are allowing him to spread lies.
अरे आप उनको रिबट कर दीजिए, call out his lies. I have no problems, but at least let him finish.
अरे भाई रिबट करिएगा, बोलने दीजिए.
But you will not give me a turn to
Sir, who says I won't give you a turn?
Victim card here also.
अरे सर
also victim card.
No, please, let's not hit below the belt. Come on, let's keep this above. Above board, please.
22nd of September 2019, a very senior journalist, Mark Kelly, has written in the Equator magazine that the Indian Muslims in India are the luckiest in the world. He said because for the 26 years he lived in Delhi, in Nizamuddin area,
yes, we are luckiest. Yes, we are luckiest. That is why.
And it is the word of the Mark Kelly, not of any RSS BJP man.
We are not luckiest by your favors. We are luckiest by our choice. We are luckiest by your choice because we have opted to India.
क्योंकि यहाँ हिंदू मेजॉरिटी है, तो मुस्लिम भी लकी हैं कि वो अपने मजहब के जिस तरीके से चाहे उससे इबादत कर सकते हैं. दिस इज द फैक्ट.
Yes.
And it also
Yes,
says
we are
that this
luckiest
entire
because
student
we are
movement जो कभी
opted to
कश्मीर
it.
में चला
It is-
जाता है,
we have
कभी
option.
रोहिंग्या पे आ जाता है, कभी पाकिस्तानी मुस्लिमों के लिए आता है, कभी पैलेस्टीन का स्लोगन है.
Okay.
It cannot be termed as a student
आपको कभी
movement. It
आपको
seems
कभी इस
to
बात
be
पर ध्यान देना
a
चाहिए.
larger design
गोलवलकर क्या
of the
कहते हैं?
Okay, one second. Let me just step in. Let me step in. Look, 1 second. Advocate Sharafuddin, Vice President of the SDPI. Please, sir.
On this.
What is the point that you want to make, and why are you speaking over the other people? What is the point?
Let me say something. You are spending lives.
I will allow you to speak.
To manhandle the governor, and he's talking about Gandhiism.
Okay, let him now respond.
Illogical and ridiculous thing.
Let him respond. What's the basic issue here, sir? I'm asking you a simple question. I mean, how does one explain the chanting of provocative Islamic slogans centered around the Intifada in Palestine at a protest against police hired-handedness and against the Citizenship Act? And it's not just this one point. There were 8 other slogans chanted. And also, the Jamia VC was called an Islamophobe. How do you explain this, sir? How can she be an Islamophobe?
You should know. To whom you have put this question?
To you, sir, to you, the advocate. On record here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, we condemn because there is conspiracy to divert the agitation, the public agitation, to make it communalized. Everybody who is making deviation from the constitutional manners is condemnable. Whether slogans are chanted in JNU, in Jamia Millia Islamia, or in MU, if they are deviating our this agitation, which is very secular and national, because every type of people and every sort of people are taking part in it, and if somebody wants to communalize it, we condemn it from the heart of the.
Okay,
it is
good.
Condemnable.
Reassuring.
Because
good to hear.
Nobody should be.
Good
allowed.
to hear.
You have. First of all, Prime Minister says that पोशाक से पहचानो, फिर उसके बाद सारे मुसलमान लड़कों के गोलियां मार के you want to communalize it, but the people of the India have gone through, has known the tricks, and they are not going to be deviated.
Okay, they won't be deviated. Sudhanshu Trivedi, respond to him.
Be condemned.
Okay, now listen to the response. Sudhanshu Trivedi, respond.
Will not be tolerated.
Okay, 1 second. I'll come out to you. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I'll come out to you. There's also Ashutosh, and there's also Leni Jadhav. I'll just come out to both of them. 1 second. And of course, Sabah Naqvi. Very quick response, Dr. Trivedi.
Rahul, I will say just one sentence. If they are saying हिंदुओं की कब्र हिंदुओं से आजादी
हिंदुओं नहीं सर हिंदुत्व फ्रॉम व्हाट आई नो इट वाज हिंदुत्व की खबर खुदेगी
बट रेजिंग द इशू इज डाइवर्टिंग द इशू
हिंदुत्व इट वाज हिंदुत्व की खबर खुदेगी सर
इशू नहीं है
इन एएमयू उत्तर प्रदेश हिंदुत्व की खबर हिंदुत्व इज वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम हिंदू
डूइंग दिस टाइप ऑफ इंतिफादा इन जेम
नो लेट्स नॉट ओके one second look first of all
जो कपड़े
first of all 1 minute I need to come in here first of all it's very important viewers in AMU the slogan was Hindutva ki khabar khudegi it was political okay please
it is political purely political
yeah okay relax now I made that intervention. I've set the record straight. I want to bring in Sabah Naqvi. Sabah Naqvi, I want to ask you, Sabah Naqvi, should... No, I'm asking you.
Allow me to speak, gentlemen.
Okay, 1 second.
Allow me to be heard, gentlemen, if you will just keep your peace and let me...
Advocate, please, Sabah Naqvi is asking you to now keep silent. The door is straight up, please. Okay, go ahead, Sabah Naqvi. I want to ask you this question and it's straight off.
अब हमारी भी आवाज सुन लीजिए जनाब
ये कहाँ से आ रहा है?
हमारी भी आवाज
ये कहाँ से आ रहा है?
हाथ जोड़ के पूछती हूँ कि आप सुन लीजिए
सबा नकवी जी
दो वर्ड बोलती हूँ I will say 2 points. Number 1, I am firmly opposed to the use of religious slogans in what is, in my view, a secular protest. Let me say this: I have no hesitation.
Does it remain one, or has it been hijacked?
If it is happening, it isolates. No, let me
does it remain one, or has it been hijacked? Because yesterday Shashi Tharoor went there in the evening,
I will take
and
much less time than the men have taken, and just allow me to
listen to me. Listen to me. I just want you to answer this question. Does it still remain?
I have much less things to. I will take much less time, but allow me to make it.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
That each man has taken.
Go ahead.
Okay, number one, I am, as an individual, I firmly oppose. I think it's strategically stupid, and it makes other people who are non-Muslims feel excluded. Just as the students in Delhi University came to me and said that they were walking yesterday, ABVP brought out, Times of India did a whole report on it. They went around saying Jai Shri Ram after the student thing. The ABVP did that, you know. So it's very unfortunate that these things happen, and I'm firmly for a secular protest. It has been people of all religions who have written poetry, who have raised slogans, who have come out with humor, who have come out with such creative exposition. I would also invite all the gentlemen on top. I will take them. They will be completely safe to come to the protest.
Great.
They will be so moved to see
Sabha Naqvi, yesterday,
to raise
Shashi Tharoor went to the protest site. But he was trolled. But he was trolled.
Anand Ranganathan, chaliye, you will be safe.
He was attacked for saying exactly what you said.
I will take you to Jamia.
No,
you
that's
will be
fine.
Absolutely safe. The students are guarding people.
Okay, 1 second. Sabha Naqvi, 1 second. No
I
one
don't
here
want
is trying to
to
delegitimize the protest. Please understand. Please understand, no one is delegitimizing the protest, but I am not hearing from mainstream politicians. Okay, 1 second. I'm not hearing from mainstream politicians the kind of...
Come and see what other
okay, Sabha Naqvi, 1 second.
Take part.
Okay, 1 second, 1 second.
People will welcome
1 second. Why haven't Akhilesh Yadav, why haven't the great RJD chieftains, why haven't the great Rahul Gandhis of this world come out and said this is wrong? It's been left to one Shashi Tharoor, who was trolled effectively when he showed the spine to show up at this protest. In fact, that was all that was said to him. Why? What kind of dog whistle is this, if at all, Sabha Naqvi?
Rahul, it is not the dominant theme of the protest. Please come and see the whole thing. If there is a group at the side,
you're so clearly mistaken. When a movement has PFI activists running it, when it's being run on the shoulders of PFI activists, when it's being run on an agenda, on a divisive agenda, when there is a poster of Om, which is being desecrated with a Nazi symbol, and the F word is used, when that F Om is used, and it's shown as a Nazi symbol, what has that got to do anything with the CA protest? Please explain that to me. And I want to ask one question.
So you're saying it's the overarching motif?
I will tell you.
It's the overarching. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is less about saving
how are you saying this?
It is less about saving the Samvidhan, more about saving the Sharia. Please tell me why haven't the mainstream politicians and political parties condemned it? They have not condemned it. And by the way, you can't equate Jai Shri Ram with La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah means there is only one God and he is the only one. Jai Shri Ram means your God. I say Ram is great. You can say anybody is great. But La ilaha illallah means you are an apostate, you are an infidel, you are a kafir, you don't have a right. Mine is the only one which is right. There's a difference between the two.
Abhinandan Sikri wants to respond. Go ahead.
Can I speak? Yeah. One thing even when Shehzad is talking by himself, he talks really loud. So if you could break it down, it just grates my ear.
Logic grates your ear. Unfortunately, Abhinandan, logic grates your ear, and the entire jing bang of people you and your coterie represent.
What happened to the no interruption rule? What happened to Shehzad's no interruption rule?
The same thing happened to your rule about not making personal jibes with people.
Look at this. Come on, guys. Come on, please.
Waiting for their turn.
Please. Let's. Okay. 1 second. Please.
Let him finish.
Let him finish his point.
Let him to keep his cheap shots at himself, or he'll get it back from me.
Okay.
What was said on this show?
Okay, let's not make it personal, Abhinandan. What is your intervention? Come on. Ashutosh is waiting.
No, I will respond to. Yeah, I will respond to what is said on this show. I think a lot of time is being spent on what X said while responding to what someone said on this show. I don't think it is anyone's case, and I haven't seen either Sabha or anyone else defending that slogan. So to go into why that's problematic, that has been established. That file is closed. So if the audience is to get any value from this discussion, something that we agree on, there's no point going on and on about it. And as far as Shehzad talking about me making personal comments is concerned, on newslaundry.com we have a show called Clothesline that he made fun of. And he said, I should
Okay,
raise my
Abhinandan, one
standards.
second. Look, I don't know this sideshow. You know, I mean, look, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like Bhrata Shri.
Okay, मेरी बात तो सुनिए आप. Abhinandan, look, it is closed only because it is closed only because a large number of panelists here have come out and said it is not the overarching leitmotif. But it would not have then attracted someone as intelligent as Tharoor. He wouldn't have stepped up and issued what he believed was an important intervention and advisory if it was only a sideshow. That is precisely what I'm trying to draw your attention to.
No, we've agreed. On this discussion, we've agreed.
Rahul, can I come in, please?
Okay, 1 minute. We haven't agreed
on that on this show.
Anand Ranganathan wants to come in. Ashutosh wants to come in. Yes, Anand Ranganathan, go first.
Yeah, very quickly, Rahul, 3 points, and one of them would be a question to you. But the first couple of points is that this whole protest, I said, and I said it during the JNU protest as well, I don't mind people protesting. It is their democratic right. I may not agree with what they say, and in this case, I definitely don't. Indoctrinating 5-year-old kids to shout Azadi, Azadi, which were first shouted during Kashmir and the Kashmiri Pandit exodus. I don't mind them doing that. But this whole protest is illegal. They have blocked a huge road and they are inconveniencing lakhs of people. Do they not understand this? Where do they get this thing from? Where does it come from? This communism or what? Why are they blocking? Why are they blocking other people's rights? You can't protest. Point number 2. Rahul, this is a question addressed to you. You said Hindutva is different from Hinduism. As far as my limited knowledge of Sanskrit is concerned, Tattva means the essence. This is like ism. Hinduism is Hindutva. Can you tell me what is the difference between Astit
You mistook.
and Hindu?
No, I just said it's different from Hindu. Please, I didn't use the word isms. I don't believe in isms. I don't believe in isms. All I said was Hindutva is different from Hindu. It was not directed at a particular community. It was directed at a philosophy, ideology, a political thought. That's what I meant. You heard the isms. I don't hear the isms. Sorry, I don't utter them. I don't believe in isms. They don't exist in my vocabulary. So just to make that clear, I want to bring in Ashutosh. Ashutosh, very clearly.
Capitalism?
Okay, very clearly. Ashutosh, 1 second. Very clearly, I want to ask you this straight off the bat. Do you believe that some of the panelists here have tried to suggest that this is just a small, maybe recurrent, but small sideshow? It isn't the larger leitmotif. Yet we are seeing people from the leftist organizations infiltrating. We are seeing, perhaps, I don't know, organized slogans by a large number of students, articles that have been written now in newspapers in defense of the religiosity we are hearing in Jamia. If it wasn't something important, Ashutosh, why are people writing in mainstream newspapers defending this? Irene Akbar, I think, wrote a piece very recently, and she's very closely identified with the Jamia protests. She is not in any way perturbed by this.
They're calling them Shiros.
1 second, sir. Please let him answer. Let him answer. Ashutosh.
Rahul, I very patiently listened to all the panelists, and I did not interrupt anybody. So let me complete, and then anybody wants to interrupt, then they can do that. See, I have quick 2-3 points. I think what is happening here, that the point which is ignored, that there are protests where the people are holding the Tiranga in Hyderabad. 4-kilometer long rally happened there. Vande Mataram on their lips, Ambedkar ki tasveer leke, and Bharat Mata ki Jai, Bharat Mata ki Jai. This is happening in the Shaheen Bagh. This is happening all across. If there are certain individuals who was hell bent to make a wrong or kind of a slogan, as you have said, it's condemnable and it should not be treated as a mainstream per se. But second point which I want to make is, I think on the Palestinian thing, and my question is addressed to Sudhanshu Trivedi, because I think he's a learned man, he understands politics and foreign policy. I want to know from Sudhanshu Trivedi, has the government of India led by Mr. Modi disowned supporting PLO movement ever. What I understand is India has improved its relationship with Israel, but it continues to support PLO movement.
Let him respond.
Point number 3 to Anand Ranganathan. Anand Ranganathan. Anand Ranganathan has a habit of misquoting people or selectively quoting people. He was talking about Ambedkar and the Muslim. Ambedkar has also said that Hindutva is the most dangerous idea and this should be stopped at every cost because this is dangerous for the democracy. This is what Ambedkar has said. It's written there.
Now,
so
Ashutosh has mentioned my name.
You should,
so I need
if you are
to correct
quoting
him
out
as
on
always.
Muslim, then you should quote him on the Hindutva.
Okay.
Can I correct him?
Mr. Ranganathan, I did not disturb
Mr.
One second, let him finish. You can rebut him, let him finish.
Said that
Doctor, you can rebut him, let him finish.
Hinduism. The problem is, you can't write.
Let him finish. Doctor, 1 second. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. We're not running away. Let him finish.
Copiously.
Don't get intolerant.
Okay, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I'll let you rebut him. No problems. Just let him finish his point. Yeah, finish your point. Ashutosh, finish your point very quickly.
Jinnah Wali Azadi is a fake news, and I never expected that Anand Ranganathan will quote that. It's a fake news. Please understand that. And if you don't believe me, get it forensically tested, and you will exactly get to know where it is at. On about Hindutva, I'll request my dear friend Anand Ranganathan to read Savarkar, where he clearly defines what is Hindutva, what is Hinduism,
so you posed your question.
Hinduism, and what
Time
is
for
Hindu.
rebuttals.
So Hindutva is a political ideology, and Anand Ranganathan should not behave like an illiterate.
Okay. Time for rebuttals. Very quickly. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, go first. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, very quickly. I thought he had regained his sensibilities after quitting AAP. Presumably not. Point number 1. When I talk about Hindutva, I am talking about the Twa. The Supreme Court judgment also says that this is a way of life. It is an ism. It is the essence of Hinduism. And by the way, Savarkar did not invent this. You are a student of history. It's embarrassing me teaching you history. Now don't interrupt me. Ashutosh, have some sense. Don't interrupt me. And when Mr. Whataboutery, we are talking of Islam and Islamic slogans and Islamic brotherhood and people talking of Intifada. In that context, I quoted Ambedkar. You can't write, but I hope you can read a little. I know I have written it in English, but I have copiously described and Ambedkar's copious writings on Hinduism. You should read a little, my friend. But here why do you get so perturbed? Why do you want to save Islamist ideas? Don't be scared. Be objective, quote both. But here, we are talking of Islam. Do you understand that?
Okay, well...
एक बार फिर से repeat करूं मैं,
Rahul, I want to
ताकि समझ में आ
respond
जाए.
Sudhanshu Saab, you want to respond to Ashutosh now. Go ahead.
Ashutosh ji has said about the Intifada. I want to make it very clear. Yes, government of India is with Palestine, but when the Intifada word was used couple of years back by Nawaz Sharif in the UN General Assembly, that there is an Intifada in Kashmir. So our then Foreign Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj ji has categorically mentioned that we are strongly opposed to this type of terminology of
Rahul,
Intifada.
just 30
so it is very
intervention.
clear on the foreign policy.
Let him finish.
10 seconds intervention.
But
Let him finish.
Intifada which was used by Nawaz Sharif
10
cannot be termed.
intervention.
And on the issue of Hindutva, Rahul, मैं एक जवाब देना चाहता हूं. ये हिंदुत्व कोई सावरकर ने नहीं खोजा था. छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ने जो साम्राज्य बनाया उसका नाम था हिंदू पद पातशाही, और उसके लिए कविराज भूषण ने लिखा था कि भूषण सुकवि सब छवि हद मर हट्टन की, गली गली रही मैं सुनी हिंदुवन की, और मथुरा मदीना होती काशी करबला होती, और शिवाजी न होते तो सुन्नत होती सबकी. यह शिवाजी के जमाने में लिखा गया जनाब. और आगे लिखा गया राखी हिंदुवानी हिंदुवान का तिलक राखी, इस पर तो पुराने राखी भेद धुन सुनी में, और शाही के सपूत शिवराज शमशीर तेरी दिल्ली दल दान के दीवाल रख दूनी में. हिंदुवानी हिंदुत्व ये सारे विषय हिंदू पद पातशाही सावरकर से 400 साल पहले. सर, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. This is the problem.
Okay.
You do not want to accept the reality.
There's another word, and it's called Hinduness, which is a view of life.
Just 10 seconds.
That's also another all-encompassing word.
Just 10 seconds. Rahul.
And a beautiful sentiment. I just want to move away from this, and I want to bring in, one second, Lenny Jadhav. One second, Lenny Jadhav, we don't have much time on the show. I'm sorry to have come to you so long. I want to ask you, we have seen an unabashed defense of some of these slogans from some of the activists at Jamia. And I want to ask you today, if it is such a peripheral part of all of this, why is it that the students themselves are not asking some of these other individuals who are hell-bent on trying to inject a communal narrative to stay away?
So, well, firstly, thank you. Last but not the least, I got a chance to speak over here. So I've been part of the student organization NSUI for almost 10 years of my life.
Sure.
But never it has so happened that when we are participating in any of the protests, we have been beaten so brutally or been treated so brutally by the police itself.
Sure.
By the government's orders. Now, coming to your question, many of the students within this or when the protests are going on.
Clearly, you know very little about NSUI in Bengal.
It's called Chhatra Parishad.
You would have known what
NSUI
they had
is
to
known as
endure for
Chhatra
years altogether
Parishad
under the communists.
in West Bengal.
One second.
But
Look,
I would like to answer
I want
to
you
your
to
question,
answer the
sir.
question now. Please come to the question.
Let's come to the question.
Thank you.
When you say in this protest there are elements which try to disturb the protest, and I agree so. There are youngsters,
but they're not asked to keep away. Why do you think that is
because
the issue?
it's their democratic right as well. We can't say certain people कि नहीं भाई साहब आप जो कह रहे हो वो सही नहीं है और आप बाजू में हटे. The sentiment.
So you're telling me that if supposing in pro-CAA protests, people wafted in with slogans like Jai Shri Ram, etc., that are now considered war cries in this country, then it is incumbent upon those leading those protests to ensure that they are eschewed from these slogans. But here it's okay because it's part of the democratic.
I'm not saying that this is okay.
So
sorry.
Tell me, then why should you have a selective approach? If you believe that those don't belong in the protest, then why is it that...
I need at least interrupted 2 minutes so that I can answer your first question, so that I can also consider all the other questions that you're putting forth.
But can I ask you one more thing to add on? Because Sabha Nakwi, I want to show you something very important.
Okay.
Forget the peripheral people. Forget the peripheral people. Rahul, one second. Forget the peripheral people.
Okay,
this is Sabha Nakwi Street. I don't think people should have hopes pinned on Supreme Court. They should fight CA politically and morally, even if court rules in favor of centre's right to frame such a law. You're talking about this being a periphery. This is the mainstream.
What are you trying to say?
This is a democratic movement. This is against democracy.
I thought you were going to bring out some facts. Okay, one second. Okay, please. Shahzad, look, I'm not legitimizing anything. Let her finish. You can bring your additional. Yes.
Okay.
Make your point quickly.
This is so unpleasant coming from you, Mr. Shehzad Poonawala. I was answering something and you want to interrupt me.
Please, sir. We'll come to that.
You're saying
I'm talking about the student activism.
Look, both of you are in the studio. Have the maturity to pipe down. I can't do very much. Please, don't speak over her. I'll come to you, sir. You can finish it, but you're delaying my debate.
It's my turn. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Maybe 30 seconds. So, as these protests are going on, there are elements who don't believe in the larger view of it, and then it does.
So should they be kept away?
But who are we?
Okay,
see,
who are
the thing
we?
is,
fair enough.
But I also need to make one more point over here. When we started this program, the introduction of this program was made with very selective naras. Why not naras of Jai Bhim are being shown over here? Why not Bhagat Singh? Why not all the national leaders that we speak about and take inspiration from? Coming to the Shashi Tharoor's point, yesterday many of my friends were at the Jamia when Shashi Tharoor ji was there. You mentioned that he was trolled. Let me tell you, he has been appreciated for standing with the students, for being the voice of them.
One second. I just want to come in. Lenny Jadhav, first of all, I don't think you've been watching India Upfront over the last few days. We focused on the politicization of these protests also. We talked about 1 minute. Please.
The protests.
Well, 1 second. I'm glad. I'm glad. But now that you've got a certain overview, we have been following the trajectory. No one here has a problem. No one here has a problem with the politicization of these protests, and if some people want to inject a communal agenda, they are free to do so. This is a free country.
Rahul, can I?
So just 1 second, sir. Just 1 second.
Rahul,
I just want to make this very clear, because the charge is we are being selective. No, if you go back a few days, you will see discussions that actually focused on these slogans, and we questioned why certain students were allowing, or bodies were allowing, mainstream political parties to come in with mainstream political slogans to hijack what was and what is and what should remain a students' protest against the iniquities that they believe have been inflicted upon this country. So we are now progressing from politics to communalization, and that is where we have come today. It's a progression.
As a part of a political organization.
So what is the point you're making? Do you defend or you don't defend?
No.
So you have no problem. The Congress says it's okay. Let a parallel protest go on if it has to be communal. Sorry, it's okay.
You're totally
it's
taking
fine
me wrong.
Because,
You're totally
okay,
taking
then
me
what are
wrong
you
there.
saying?
I'm saying that there are people who are creating some mishappenings, and it can be sponsored by the by the people who want to disturb this policy.
Pakistan is also sponsoring it through its
Okay, I need to
There
move on.
is a breaking news that
Okay,
Times Now did yesterday. You don't watch enough television news, unfortunately. You only read
The fact is, at least, 1 minute, at least viewers, at least we have some sort of, 1 second, please, we have at least a little bit of, well, a certain degree of consensus on the fact that we must eschew, as far as we can, communal overtones, whether it is on the Hindu side or the Muslim side or what have you. I just hope that we can be mature enough to drive the discourse in the direction that it needs to be driven, which is accountability from the state, from the police, etc., for excesses, and one hopes we can continue down that road. An attempt has been made. It seems promising. The courts are also jousting with this, and one hopes we can have closure. I'm already being told that as far as JNU is concerned, the HRD ministry has issued a statement to say that all demands have now been accepted. There is no reason for the students at JNU to continue that stir. Well, we'll have to see and examine that statement that has been issued by the HRD ministry on exactly what are those demands that have been agreed upon. I'm trying to contact our correspondent here. We're going to try and go across, but the little we can tell you is that the fee hike related matter has been sorted out. The HRD ministry has issued a statement. That's what we can tell you as of now. The continuation, the HRD says, of the stir is no longer justified. Well, if that is indeed the case, many people will say the government has backed down in the teeth of these protests. And there's a bigger debate, therefore. Is this a new precedent, or is this an exception of the fact that the government was wrong in the first place? We'll have to wait and watch how this debate now continues. Aditi joining us. Aditi, what exactly has been agreed to by the HRD ministry?
Well, first of all, Rahul, the entire controversy regarding the hostel fee hike, that has been settled by the Government of India. What they have said is that the hostel fee hike will remain the same, but for students coming from the PPL category, they will get a complete 50% waive off. So which means that they will get a 50% concession. The second fee structure, which was probably the biggest bone of contention between the students and the JNU administration, was pertaining to the services and utility charges, and that's one of the main reasons why the winter session, the admissions during the winter session were also put on hold, and there was so much controversy regarding it. So the government and the JNU administration together have agreed that the utility and the service charges will not be put into place.
Okay, Aditi, have the students responded to this?
Well, it seems like they have agreed, because all of this has
seems
been
like it is agreed. We'll try to get more details. I'm running out of time. The news hour with Navika Kumar coming up. It's an interesting development late in the show, viewers. We're going to get more clarity on this. Stay with us.